Hello and welcome to North Star Stamper. I'm Sue Kramer. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I live in Minnesota. I always love to know where other people are watching from. So if you want to say hello and let me know where you're from, that would be awesome. Alright, I like to find myself on my tablet. Hold on, it's being temperamental. There, I think we're good. I think I need to move this up a little bit and you can see the top of that. I like to keep my screen clear so you're not distracted by other things. I know I appreciate that when I watch other people's videos so I don't know. Anyway, so last week I asked you to share where you were watching from. Hopefully you know all about this. This is where you can find me. You can shop Stampin' Up! At northstarstamper.stampinup.net. I have my own personal website, northstarstamper.com, and you can always email me if you have questions. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Do I have anybody with me yet? Oh, there we go. Hello. Thank you. So last week, I asked if you posted, I asked you to post where you were watching from, just the city and state, or country for that matter. And my two furthest viewers were going to receive this assortment of Designer Series paper. I have 2 packs that are identical. I didn't have any comments on YouTube. I know I had some viewers, so sorry if you thought you commented. If you thought you did, reach out and I'll send something to you anyway, if you watched on YouTube. So the 2 people who shared where they were from, well, the one person who lived furthest away from me, and once you guess who you are, you live 1,320 miles away from Woodbury, Minnesota. And that's all I'm going to say. Watch for this in your mail. And then the other one is going to the person who shared where they lived, and they are not a demonstrator. So that's all I'll say. I'll get those out in the mail tomorrow. Oh, I do need one address. I will reach out to you later. Okay, let's get busy. So today we are going to focus on this stamp set. It's in the July through December mini catalog. Hopefully you have a copy. If you don't, reach out to me. I'll send you one. And this stamp set here is on page 41. It's called Peace to You, and it is intended to be a Christmas stamp set. But we are using just the tree portion of this stamp and making non-Christmas cards, or I should say Christmas cards that are not Christmas cards. I did see it somewhere and I tried to find the card that inspired me, and I only found actually one card, but it wasn't the card that I was thinking of, so I don't know where I saw it. I did see somebody who just used this portion, so I'd love to give them credit. But anyway, here is my first card, and this is the kind of thing we're going to do tonight, and I'll show you how I created these panels. And I just used my trimmer to cut that portion of the stamp. This stamp comes from Hope and Prayer, this one here. I don't seem to have a Current with Sympathy stamp. I need to find one. I have one I use, but it's not current, and I do like to show you current products when I'm on here. The embossing folder I used for the Mossy Meadow piece was the Ferns, and that's in the annual catalog. Let me pull that up. In the annual catalog, all the embossing folders are on pages 176 and 177. The Fern is here. It's Fern 3D. That's what I use for most of mine. I did pull out these 2. They are smaller embossing folders. Let's see if I have one handy. And so I had to run my cardstock through twice. Well, here's the bubble one. This splatters, they call it. So I did run it through twice. You can kind of see a line there, but I think once I get things on top of it, you won't see that line there. So these work too. All right, so that's the texture I'm adding to. We're going to leave that there. I have a card to finish. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Let me see. Hello, everybody. Oh, nice to see everyone. I feel like I'm with friends. I love it. All right, so as I said, I just use my trimmer to trim these 2 trees off a stamped image. I discovered, however, that the one card I was able to find, I used the smallest of the nested, these are the rectangle stitched dies. I think they're stitched rectangle dies. So the series that is here, I used the smallest one, and it cut them out very nicely. So that's that, and that is Shaded Spruce. This was Mossy Meadow. But the card I'm working on now, I used one of our tags, and so it was the third largest or second smallest tag, and I'm sure the scallop top would have worked too. So that's the die I used to cut these tags. You can see there. So again, I just stamped it on a scrap and I die cut it, and we're going to finish this card off. I used Night of Navy. Ooh, which one did I use? This may have been Evening Evergreen. It looks really, really dark. And Blackberry Bliss was my third one. This is, I love this ribbon. Even though it's metallic, it's very soft and easy to tie, and I don't think it'll be too bulky to put through the mail. It is the satin edged ribbon. It's 3/8 inches wide, and it says gold, but it's also the very vanilla as opposed to white. So to do this, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just feeding it through there. And I trim that off. And then I'm going to use some twine. I shared this twine with a friend, so this is not how they come. I think they come in individual spools of each color. So there was a white, black, vanilla, white, crumb cake, and I forget. There's a little bit of white left. I think it's called the Essential Baker's Twine. I don't know. It comes multiple colors. You can see I don't use black very often. So this is how I finish off tags sometimes. This is one way to do it. Let's get these things out of the way. And I do have my stamped and embossed image. I thought it might be kind of fun to add some gold embossing to this card. So I guess my biggest tip for you today is look at your larger stamps. This is quite a large stamp, and see if there is a portion of the stamp that you could use to create something else. I'm always looking for things I can use to create masculine cards. I do struggle with those. I'm going to put these away. We'll just make a pile. To get this shape, I used the punch. So I stamped and embossed, and then I punched it out. Let's finish this card. I have very vanilla thick card base, and then another very vanilla with the Fern 3D embossing folder. And then I think I like them this way, just to stagger them, and then put this on the top. So I think that's what we're going to do. I have a brand new pack of dimensionals. Stick with me and I will show you how I created those. How's that? Incentive for you. And I'm not going to finish the card tonight. It is going to be in this week's newsletter. So if you want to see how I finish the card, I'm going to start here in a minute. You need to sign up for my newsletter at northstarstamper.com. On the left hand side, there's a place for you to sign up for the newsletter. You may have to click on the 3 bars at the top. I changed my website a little bit, and it's just, I can't get it back to how I had it. I'm going to pull these up. I think I'm tearing the paper, but I'll still have it hidden. Move that over. And move this over. So I did that last week. I showed in my newsletter the finished card from last week with my no-line watercoloring. So I hope you enjoyed that. And then this, that's different colors, isn't it? That's right. I'm sure whoever receives this card will appreciate it and not care that I use 2 different greens. So there's that. All right. So there's another option. Same idea, just all the trees. All the trees. I was looking for an animal to put in our forest, and excuse me, I don't have a bear stamp right now. I know we have 2 of them, but I think a bear would have been a good accent to put in the forest. I have an old moose I think I could have used. Anyway, so we're going to use Pear Pizzazz for these trees. And this is a very large stamp. I had to use the E-block. If you look in the catalog down here, they do tell you which blocks you will need to use with the stamps, and they do list the E-block there. They used to, and I wish they still did, list them on the stamp case, and I thought maybe I will add that myself so that I remember that if I take this stamp set somewhere, that I'm going to need an E-block to stamp with. All right, so I just have a piece of Very Vanilla. It's not thick, it's just regular Very Vanilla. I'm going to ink. I'm going to turn it over and make sure I have all my, both those trees. That one looks, there we go. And I'm just going to stamp here. Hopefully you can see. And there we go. I'm going to do it again. I do like to look, and I'm getting lines there. Okay. I'm pushing right where I have the ink on the stamp. I'll hold it for a minute. And yeah, I knew that wasn't going to stamp perfectly, but that's okay. Let's try something different. I haven't tried this yet, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm going to try this tree on the other side. Let's turn it over maybe. Ink. You can look at it. That looks like good inking. And I'm going to stand up to do this. So I'm going to make sure that tree goes on my paper. I'll get a little bit of the church in there. And push where the ink is. Well, that's good. We'll try that. Let's see what happens when we use that. I can always use this darker one if I want to add some different colors to our forest. I think that's kind of funny. So I'm just going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to trim these. I can look in my track right where, I'll go this way and hopefully you can see in the track. And I'm just going to trim it. A little bit. I was a little crooked when I stamped on the paper, so it's not quite lining up. I do like to hold the plastic, and then you can trim off very thin pieces. I'm sure that was like a 1/16 of an inch. So on some of these, like here, you can kind of see the corner. Let me show you with this. You can see it is going up like it's the hill here. I think that was kind of nice. So I'm going to leave some of that on this card so that they're not just floating. And that's all I did to create this card. I just used my trimmer and trimmed 3 stamped images to use. Let's do that again. I do want to have it green all the way at the top. There's another one. This one is on white. These are vanilla, by the way. Excuse me. One last one. I have a little extra green right there, so let's get rid of that. And trim this at the top. And then I have some card layers and a card base ready to go. And we haven't done embossing in a while, so I thought we could emboss. How are we doing on time? I think we're good. I think I'm moving right along. All right, good. So I have some Pear Pizzazz, but I also have, this is Mossy Meadow, or there's Pear Pizzazz, or there's Very Vanilla. That's the Fern, the Stripes, and the Splatters. And I have a, let's see, I kind of want the card to go the other way. Pear Pizzazz card base. I think I will, excuse me, lay these pieces out. Let's do the sentiment next. I'm going to leave these here. Let's put these to the side. Leave these here. And those there. Now let's work on this. I need my Embossing Buddy, my Versamark ink pad, because this is not dye ink, it is, they call it Watermark stamp pad. It is, what's the word I want? Pigment ink. But this has no pigment in it. So it's like pigment ink without the pigment. I'm going to put it this direction because I know which way my punch goes. We're going to do something different and use copper embossing powder. I believe our copper, gold, and silver embossing powders come together in one pack. So mine is quite old. We actually got rid of copper for a while. Alright, let me put 2 scoops on there. And then this comes, this embossing set. Where did my brush go? I just used it a minute ago. It's probably on my desk somewhere. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, I accidentally left it in my gold embossing powder. Didn't mean to do that. Leave all that in there. So this brush comes with the the tray, the brush, so the Embossing Buddy, the tray, the brush, and then these tweezers come in a kit that is in the July through December mini catalog. And you can see that I have some stray, let's see, I don't need that. I need the brush. Oh my goodness. Slow down, Sue. You can use the brush just to get rid of those stray pieces. Did I forget to use the Embossing Buddy? I thought I did. Ay, ay, ay. So there is our sentiment. It won't take long. It's kind of small. So I'm going to use my heat tool. Hopefully you can still hear me. And I'll hold it down. Sorry, I have it wrapped around. I don't know if this is going to work. Hold on. This shouldn't take so long. I am wrapped around the table leg. Okay, let's try again. Take 2. I can bring it closer. There we go. And we're just going to melt the powder with the heat tool. Hopefully you can see that happening. Alright, I'm going to let that cool for just a minute. Look how bright that is. Can you see? You are in my prayers. I'll line it up in my punch like that. And punch. All right. Nope. I will put this card together. I will have another one in my newsletter this week. So if you want to see a 4th card, let me know. I'll use one of these this time and one of these in my newsletter. I don't know if I like all that white on the bottom. I think we'll put this one in the middle with the sentiment over the top, and I'm going to trim these. So, can you think of any stamps you have that you could try this with? Just using a portion of the stamp. And if the portion is, you know, rectangular, you can just trim it like I did. Excuse me. You could always use a die like I did with these. Or you could use a punch. I wonder, you know what? Now I'm wondering, let's take our image, and I'm wondering if this punch would punch enough of the trees. Let's try. I have bigger punches that would probably work, but let's try this.
I got my all good.
Push where the ink is. Let's trim this a little bit. Okay. Could I have? Absolutely. I could have used this punch. It's one of the Label Me Fancy, Label Me Lovely. I never did learn the difference between the two. I could have used that on my card instead. So look at your stamps in a different way. Okay, back to our card. I'm distracted. I think I like the dark. We're going to use that on our card. Let's get this out of the way. Some adhesive. My favorite green glue. Green because it has a green top. The glue is white and dries clear. I think we have a lot of background stamps that you could do this with, and that is crooked. See, this is why I like the green glue. I can move this ever so slightly. I know we have a background stamp that has like daisies on it. You could do this with that. You could even color some sections and not color others. You could color them different colors. Color the flowers differently. What other background stamps do we have that you could do this with? I'm going to put this one up in the corner. I'm going to put this one on the other side. Kind of put it in the middle. I think we'll put this one over to the right, left a little bit, and then the sentiment here. Excuse me. This is narrower, so I'm going to use some mini dimensionals. I did grab some retired copper ribbon that I think I'd like to add to this. I'm going to put this off to the left a little bit. So there's our card. Here are other ones. Where did my ribbon go? I think I have too much stuff on my table. This was part of a 2-pack. I don't remember what else was in it. I'm going to use some glue dots to hold the ribbon down. Where are we? There we go. One more glue dot. Oh, I missed it. Uh-oh, it went somewhere. There it is. Okay. I do want the end to be under my sentiment. So if I put this here, I'm going to loop around like this. I'm going to need some more glue dots. This, we'll put one there. I like to hold it up and see how that looks. Maybe one more loop and one more glue dot. There we go. Push that down, and then I'm going to trim my ribbon. that's what that looks like. And because I don't want my glue dots to be on top of my ribbon, just to keep it from being too bulky, I'm going to put my dimensionals on my base, kind of between my ribbon. Make sure I'm not putting them too far. And take the liners off. I'm doing pretty good today. Normally I can't talk while I do that, can I? Sorry, I need to see what it's gonna look like. There we are. A non-Christmas card with a Christmas stamp set. I thought that was kind of fun. So look at your stamps, especially the larger ones, and see if you can find shapes that you can cut a rectangle or use a punch or a die to use just a portion of the stamp. It'd be kind of fun just to cut out the church for like a wedding card or a baptism card. Oh, here come the ideas. I was trying to think what else we could use the nativity for. Nothing comes to mind. There's a mom and a baby. That'd be a new baby card. That would be precious, wouldn't it? Just to cut out what's supposed to be Mary there. So mom and a baby. So lots of ideas. Look at your stamps. See what else you have that you could use this technique on. Let me see real quick if you have any questions. Looks like we're good. People like my card and said hello, 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 hello. Whoops. Let's see. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. As I said, I will get those packs of Designer Series paper out to 2 people this week. Next week, I am going to be on vacation. So I am going to pre-record a video, and it's going to be a Stampin' with Sue video. So beforehand, I will tell you what cardstock and probably Designer Series paper you need to create a card with me. I like to do fun folds or fancy folds when I do those kinds of projects. So look for that next Monday. I'll have it go live on YouTube and Facebook at 7:30 Central Time. So if you prefer YouTube over Facebook, it'll be at both places at 7:30 next week. And I will post, oh, maybe I'll even put it on my blog at northstarstamper.com. I'll create a blog post about the card. And I'm not going to make it a mystery card. I think I will tell you ahead of time, or at least at the beginning of the video, what card you're creating, because it's just easier that way with a fun fold, so you know what your pieces are going to be used for. So thank you for joining me. Happy stamping. Anne says, oh, fun. I'm sure she's referring to my stamping next Monday. I'll, excuse me, if I'm available, I'll hop on and comment on the video when it does go live, but no promises. So thank you for joining me. Happy stamping, and I'll be live again in 2 weeks. Otherwise, join me next Monday for my Stampin' with Sue. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.